you ever heard of hit songs such as Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis or even Don't Be Cruel by Elvis Presley? Now, how would you react if I told you that both of these songs were actually written by the same man, and you most likely have never heard his name? That man is named Otis Blackwell. He was also commonly known by his cover name of John Davenport, and he's the man that created rock and roll as we know it today. So personally for me growing up, I was always listening to rock and roll. My dad always had it playing no matter where we were, in the car, in the house. Music was always going. And I think that really brought about my current love and passion for music. And that's really what inspired me to learn more about Blackwell's life. So today we're going to be discussing Otis Blackwell's early life along with his influence on rock and roll today. So let's jump into Blackwell's journey as a musician in the city that never sleeps, New York. So Otis Blackwell was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and that's where he spent a lot of his life actually. And that's where he gained his love for music. So Otis Blackwell lived right down the street from a popular movie theater, and after going there multiple times, he really gained an admiration of this man named Tex Ritter, who was a vocalist, and that's really what started to inspire him to want to sing. So Otis Blackwell started making music of his own. He started singing, and eventually at the age of 21, he went to Harlem, New York, to the Apollo Theater to join a talent show. And there he actually won first place, and he thought that that was an amazing start for him, and this is what he's good at. So now that he had that first place with him, he started to create his own music and release his own music. However, as he was putting more and more songs out, he realized that this slowly wasn't going to work, as his songs weren't hitting the top 40 charts and they really weren't making their way out there. So from there, he decided to jump into songwriting. So Otis Blackwell actually made a lot of music for a lot of the popular 1950s rock and roll artists, the main ones being Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis. And for all of these artists, he made 1,000+ songs, and from all of those songs, he made over 200 million record sales. So he really was behind a lot of the popular music that we know and love, but you would never know because his name was never on it. Eventually, sometimes his name started to be on it when he started going by John Davenport, and that was because there was another artist named Otis Blackwell, so he had to go by a different name. So he started to go by his stepfather's name of John Davenport, which you'll actually see on some songs. So Otis Blackwell's songs eventually became the inspiration for a majority of rock and roll songs today. Artists like the Beatles and Stevie Wonder really looked up to him, and Stevie Wonder even acknowledged his work at a music ceremony, which was a really great tribute to him because no one ever really has ever heard of Otis Blackwell or even John Davenport. So although Otis Blackwell might not have been the face of rock and roll, he's the one that filled it with the passion and energy. And it just reminds us that influence doesn't just come from fame. It comes from your passion and creativity and the impact that you put into your work. So that is Otis Blackwell, and thank you for watching my speech.